Well, hello, my name is Daniel Phillips, and a friend prompted me. He basically said that I should be making some videos on what I'm doing. I am building another 300 Blackout AR, and we're gonna unbox some stuff, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just build it, and I'm gonna hopefully do this as quickly as I can. I might have to fast forward through some stuff, but I'm gonna try and just do one take of what it's like to unpack it. Some helpful things: I have a normal punch set, a brass punch set, a brass tipped hammer, and it has different tips that you can switch it out with. I have a AR tool for tightening the back of the castle nut, some Allen wrenches. Okay, I have made this little needle nose tweezers or pliers, and I've wrapped tape around them to not scar your AR. That helps a lot. And some oil. I'm going to be using an old blower that I have. I actually took most of the parts off already. I like to paint my writing, and the way I do that is I take nail polish, any color, and non-acetone nail polish remover to remove it. So I lay on the paint, I take like a business or a credit card, swipe it off, so that you're leaving everything inside of the grain. Let it dry just for a minute or two, and then very lightly begin to run it with a paper towel with non-acetone. I'm not big into painting nails, so I don't know very much. Non-acetone nail polish remover. So this is what I'm going to start out with. It's an Aero Precision AR lower. I've left a pin in because I didn't want to take that out. That was the hard pin. All right, let's start unboxing some stuff. All right, so I just got a shipment in from Optics Planet. I have not even looked at this yet. Let me. I like to build my gun kits in my cart and make sure I have what I need, and then order it all at once. And lucky for me, Ammogeddon seems to be calming down a little bit. Okay, so let's look at some stuff. I have a Timney trigger, an impact AR, your end plate right there. Goes on the back of here, holds a pin or a detent pin right here. I've got an H2 Aero Precision buffer tube, or buffer rather. I have a AR lower parts kit, a beautiful Optics Planet sticker, a ambidextrous Odin Works safety select switch. This is a Redline buffer tube. I'm actually going to open it for you guys because this is pretty cool. I've not used these before, but I do like aesthetics on guns. I understand, like, you don't need aesthetics to work a gun, but that looks pretty sweet to me. Strike Industries. So I'm a huge fan of Strike Industries and Aero Precision. Good old buffer spring, nothing fancy. Another Odin Works mag release button, a Aero Precision bolt carrier group. Beautiful there. These are actually really nice. I think it's the best bang for your buck. I have a lot of rounds through these guys. There you go. Aero Precision. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. A Magpul MOE grip. Strike Industries charging handle. Paperwork, junk, and of course your MBUS sights. I also actually have a SIG Romeo that's in my room. I'm gonna have to go get it in a minute. But I think that's all we need to make an AR. I could be wrong, I could be missing something. Let's go ahead and see. Alrighty. Oh, also, I forgot two main parts. SB Tactical pistol stabilizing brace, which might go out of style. We'll see. See what the BATF has to say, or the AFT. Also, the main package. I do not build my uppers generally. I don't want gassing issues or anything like that. I've got this nice package here. This is directly built from Aero Precision. It's a full complete upper. I just don't like to mess around with those. I'm not saying I won't in the future. This does have a threaded barrel. All right, sorry I had to stop recording. My wife is watching Dancing with the Stars and it connected and I started hearing Pirates of the Caribbean music. So I went ahead and got the SIG sight. I am putting a SIG Romeo X5 XDR. I have an EOTech on one of my favorite ARs that I have, and I really like the EOTech. And I ended up buying a 6-hour Romeo, and I went through a carbine class with it, and I was a little actually disappointed that I didn't swap my EOTech onto the other AR. And I ran the entire class with one of these, and I thought this was actually fantastic. It held up well. Shot quite a few rounds that day through it, and it just was easy to acquire and did really well for me. I was going to show you this Aero Precision full complete upper. Like I said, I generally don't mess with gas tube systems and things like that. I get most of my fun from basically building grown-up Legos, which is what we're going to do. Good boxing and garbage. So let's set this aside and we will begin. I believe we have all of our parts now. So let me get you down here. Okay, the first thing I'm going to always generally start with is my little parts group. I try to keep organized as I go along. This is a Tribe Defense lower parts kit. They make pretty good stuff. They obviously have colored bags to make sure that things are separated. And I will try to do the same. These detent pins, I saw a Classic Firearms meme about these little guys right here. These are spring-loaded, and if you accidentally let them go, you'll never find them again, so be careful with that. I literally have lost like 6 or 7, and one time I found one years later, not even close. So some of these parts actually are going to be swapped out, like our selector switch, our this we don't need. I already installed that on my other AR, so I did not uninstall it to reinstall that. Let's go ahead and I believe I have a mag release here. Where's that guy? I have a mag release button. I don't have this side, so let's go ahead and install the magazine release. Maybe I can zoom in here a little bit. Nope. So I'm going to put this piece in here, and I'm going to thread a spring, this spring onto that. Then I'm going to open up this Odin Works one. This is going to be an extra part. I like matching things, and I'm really hoping this matches pretty closely. Let's see, Odin and Strike match pretty well. So this is going to go there. I don't think, I think I can just do this without taking it off. So you're going to get it, the button push on. Let it come out the other side. And then you're going to rotate this guy a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take them off. I can't do it. Might be able to get them started, but yeah. Oh well. It was fun while it lasted. So this guy is gonna have to, you're gonna have to back out the pins. If I would have done this the opposite, as in if I would have not installed this lever, I think I could have done it without taking the little red part off. But such is life. Screw, screw. I don't mean necessarily for this to be like a instructional video, more so just me struggling with different tools. And I very rarely see somebody do an actual full build. I mean, there are guys that do that, but I'm going to start it by just twisting it on there like so until I can't go anymore, and then I'm going to press it down, pushing it out the other side, and see if I can get another full rotation, and I can't by myself. So, I don't know. I do not like that. So we're gonna have to go a little bit more. So, let's see. Maybe use the assistance of one of these guys. And push. Whoop. Okay, it can't twist. Reliably pushes. So we install now the button. And we are good to go. I've never actually used one of these extended buttons before, so I'm interested to see how this fires. Feels nice, although I never have a problem pushing it anyway. I just think it also kind of looks kind of cool. K&S Precision, a company that's actually here in Fredericksburg, actually makes these real cool pin things, anti-locking pin sets that I'm thinking about putting on here. That would be really cool, but not necessary. Let's go ahead and do the trigger, I think. Sometimes I get confused. I think you can do one versus the other. Sometimes, depending on the trigger or the safety selector, sometimes they have issues. But we're going to find out. Odinworks likes their little hex tools. Where's the trigger? This is a nice looking trigger. I've also never installed I always do mil-spec non-drop-in triggers, so this is the first non-mil-spec trigger that I've done. I always do the ALGs. It's like an advanced, or ACT, advanced combat trigger. And so this is my first one. I don't even know how this works now. Ooh, fancy. I'm excited. to say the least. Cool. I think let's do this first. So it looks like you pull off one of the paddles, and I should have read the directions. I'm just assuming this is the case. Pulling off paddles, sliding in, and reinstalling. Looks to be the case to me. Something like that. All right, it looks like I almost started to cross thread it. That's why I was having issues. I've never done that before, but once it's on, it looks good. It's a little loose, so I'm hoping that once I'm gonna go ahead and put the grip on so that the detent holds it. So we're gonna see. So with this, there's a little detent that looks like, kind of like, I don't know, a little atom bomb or something. And the spring that came with it. Detent goes point down, and the hole next to the grip. So there's a little hole next to the grip. Bueno. Then our MOE, where are you? Here you go. Grip, standard stuff. Your spring fits into a matching hole right here, and then you smush them together. I like to do it on the side so nothing falls out, and just be gentle. So that's gonna go there. I'm gonna pull out the little stopper thing that's in the way, and there's a screw inside. I don't think I mentioned this in my tool list earlier, but I use this little Milwaukee, it's like a 8-in-1 or whatever, but it's got a real fat, flat head that works really nicely for this guy. The other tool you can use is one of these, just the appropriate sized one. This is what I was looking for. It's another little Allen wrench, and it kind of sits on top. So there's different ways to do this. I'm going to go up from the bottom. So balancing on my, that's why this is nice to use. Balancing and going straight up. Oh, I lost it. Try that again. Okay, it's on. And putting my cap, some people put extra parts, extra firing pins, extra oil, gun oil in there, but this just keeps everything in. And you now have a select fire switch. I might rotate that, but you can, because of these things, I can actually do that while it's on the gun. So that's kind of nice. But I'm pretty sure that's what it's looking for. Down, like it's flat when it's down, down is fire, and it almost looks like it'd be more comfortable to push back to safe, but I don't know. Anyway, looks good so far. We're getting places. extra piece from the kit. This is an extra stock one. I'm going to order another one of these for my other lower. Let's go and put in the trigger. All right, well, that's what you get for not reading all of your stuff. This on the back here, on the packaging, says, makes use of your rifle's original hammer and trigger pins. Which I bought the Tribes Defense thing that does not have a trigger, so it does not have trigger pins. So we are going to almost build them there, and we're going to have to drop in one of the main components, the trigger, later. That is unfortunate. And again, that's what you get for not reading all of your directions. So let's go ahead and install the buffer tube. I always like to, let's see, I'm doing this backwards. Castle nut. I actually don't know if this is called castle nut. That's what I am going to call it. Looks like we have some, the end plate, it looks like this would be Loctite. This is blue, and Loctite is generally blue. Stop, please fall, torque value below 35 foot-pounds. So make sure that you have a torque wrench and go to 35 foot-pounds. Okay. Bump some of this stuff over. So this is Strike Industries, this is Strike Industries, so these match exactly, and they're close enough to the other stuff to be okay. Plus most of this is going to be covered anyway. So the first thing you're going to put on is your castle nut. And you're going to do it notches facing the back of the tube. Then your end plate goes on. It looks like this particular one looks like it can be done both ways. So I would say I want the bigger loop to be on my outside. There's a small skinny loop, long and bigger one. I'm going to want that to be on my outside for most right-handed gunners. Slip it on so that you've got castle nut, end plate, and then I'm going to slowly try and thread this on just a little bit, because one more turn. There is a hole right in there that is going to catch that little notch. And so in your lower parts kit, you have one of these. It's got a hole in the bottom. And you've got a spring that fits into this, like so. That is going to go into your hole right here. So generally you just try and press it down and then rotate. I'm going to use one of these to help me push it down further. Just something, it hurts the hand if you don't do it otherwise. Honestly, a piece of wood might be nice too to use. You just don't want it to shoot back out at you. Okay. So it has caught right in between there. It doesn't look like it's super far. Mine won't go anymore, so that's as far as it's going to go for me. But it's caught it. So then you seat the end plate like so. Oh wait, I missed one step. There's also a detent here that I was about to miss with a skinny spring and a detent pin. This is the easy detent of the two. You need, do I not have it? Where are you? All right, now that I've got my pin, I'm going to set my pin in there. I'm going to, well, I don't think the detent pin is in there. Yeah, no, it's not. So your detent, drop in. Okay. Spring. And then what you want to try and do is put your thing in and your buffer tube, buffer catch thing. Press down on the detent and use a tool to assist me. Twist my buffer tube into place like so. Then you're going to, the detent is in there, it's holding the pin, and then you're going to kind of smush that spring. Oh, that's weird. That's what that is. It makes it to where you can take out your pin without taking your buffer tube. I've never seen that. That's interesting. So let's go and do that. All right, for some reason it stopped recording. All I did was thread the little piece down in here. And so I'm gonna go and tighten the castle nut by putting this over and just tightening. And then they have it to where, let me use this. This hole right here is going to capture one of the slots of this, basically staking or keeping in place the castle nut, which I've never seen before. That's kind of cool, but also it makes this process more difficult. So I'm going to fast forward. Oh, y'all watch me struggle with this. Okay, and your buffer tube is on. So, let's see, where are we? We are almost there, guys. Buffer tube, or buffer tube, buffer spring. Yeah. Okay. So, empty hole, spring, okay. Buffer. Buffer thing, sometimes this is difficult, but Okay, so I ended up stopping the video just because I had to redo some stuff on here. I've had to do this once before where the buffer tube wouldn't fit when the pin was in. So I don't know if you can grind down the pin or maybe I'm doing something wrong, but basically what I had to do was unstake this, back it out, back everything up, pull the pin out, insert the spring and the buffer, then the pin, and then redo it all. So I'm on the other side of that, and we now have buffer spring and buffer in the buffer tube. Okay. Trigger, I will save that. We are right at the end here. I'm going to go ahead and add the upper part here. Like I said, Strike Industries charging handle and bolt carrier group are complete. I think it's a 8-inch thing and a 9-inch barrel. I'm pretty sure that's the case. And put our thing in here and it'll sit down. Make sure your bolt is all the way pulled back, otherwise it won't fit. And the top, like this. That's on there. Does cover. Okay. Pin. Okay. That's there so far. Now obviously I'm going to have to add the trigger back in here because that's did not work for me today. I'll have to go buy trigger pins tomorrow. But go ahead and add the front side. Again, I've said this like 4 times already. I really do like Aero Precision. I like what they make. I like wrapping, when I'm holding this, I like wrapping my thumb around the top and having no Picatinny rail there. For me, is really good. If you're going to run night sights and stuff like that, you might want to have a full Picatinny rail. But for me, I don't run night sights generally or night vision. So having that place for my thumb is nice. And then obviously your front rail for your front sight, which we're going to do now. So unscrew. I like these pop sights. They are plastic. I know people complain about that. But generally speaking, I'm not throwing my gun all over the room. And even if I did, I feel like this would be quality enough to do what I needed to do. Oops. So I'm going to get it as front as I possibly can. Well, if I put it on the front one, it's going to stick out a little bit. So I'm going to go to the second best that I can. Yeah. Ooh, I like that. I like that look. Nut and screw. Rear sight. Same thing. It just has this little bar that goes through one of your Picatinny rails. So you just have to remove it. Again, this can be used with an Allen wrench as well. So removing and it already has some Loctite on it as well. And I always put it to where it's just about flush, where the end comes right before the charging handle or something like that. So there, we'll see once it's on it. What I don't want is to interfere with my grabbing of the latch. So I want it far enough to just kind of, oop, too far. Somewhere in there. Far enough back, but doesn't really impede with my grabbing of my charging. Nut goes in, screw goes in on the Picatinny. For now, the Romeo. You know, the government likes you to do things the way they tell you to do them and not any other way. It really does not matter if it even makes sense. We comply. Or as Colin Noir would say, he shall not comply. But, you know, the thing is, all these rules are very, very stupid for the most part because, like here, this is a pistol brace, SB Tactical. Whatever, it's stupid. It's not a stock, right? Okay, anyway, I digress. Sig Romeo. So they do come with some plates and things like that, risers, things like that. I'm not going to use that. I'm just going to directly mount. Okay. They really like these hex keys here. In all different shapes. So I'm using my tool to back out the sight, but not too much. Just enough. Okay. On the gun, I generally like mine somewhere right above the mag well, maybe a little bit back, but sometimes I think that looks funky. So I'm probably going to do where it gets very close to the back line. I think I'm going to do right here because it matches right here. So that line matches there. Again, stylistic, whatever. But everybody does what they do for a reason. I want it somewhere close, just within 2 or 3 little rails of that area. And I had a buddy of mine that did not tighten this very well, and it was not fun getting it sighted in at the range because it shook all over the place and it took us a while to figure out what it was. Okay, sans a stock or brace or fin. Oh, and trigger. This is complete. Everything else looks nice. Got my pop sights, my good sight. This would hurt, just so you know. And we're good. Let's go and do the SB Tactical brace. Adjusting, you just clamp it down, right? And this one feels a little loose, which is a little weird, but whatever. To remove it, you pull down and it comes off. It's that simple. There you go. So there it is, minus trigger, which I will install tomorrow. 300 Blackout, mostly Aero Precision AR pistol. There you go. All right, welcome back. It's the next day. I got some pins and I'm installing my Timney trigger. Basically, all you have to do is take out your previous trigger, and then you do have to remove your selector fire switch. So you have to remove your grip. You take the provided hex key, and right in there, there's a hole here, a hole here. You have to tighten these little bolts or screws, basically, that press down on the trigger pins and give tension, because otherwise the trigger pins just fall out. Then in the box, let me prepare one for you. They have these other little set screws right about here, and you place that on top of the holes, so they're going to go on either side of the trigger and lock everything in completely. So I'm going to go and do that, and we'll get a little closer. So let me focus you in here. All right, I have used a tool. I have a small screwdriver, which I'm using to bend the spring over just a little bit. Not so much that it's ridiculous, but the guy in the video made it look really easy to put in that screw, and that did not look easy. So one is in, I believe. And it's time for the second one. Okay. All right. Trigger's in place. Both set screws are on either side of the spring, and I push the spring back to normal. It does function. It feels very nice. So let me put it back together, and then I'll show you what we're working with. Alrighty, here we are. This is the finished product. Okay. I am now just going to oil it. So I'm going to put some oil on the bolt and do a couple other things. Other than that, I would feel very confident going out and shooting this. So we are done, I believe. I had to steal some parts from other guns, so I've ordered other parts for those, but overall, I think this looks like a pretty nice little build. Again, I like function, and I also like a little bit of design, but it looks good to me, and I'm happy. So thank you all for watching. I hope I entertained at least 5 neck beards because of this. So y'all have a great day. Thanks for watching. If you've made it to this point, either you are really bored because there's a lot better videos out here, so you're just like rolling through the videos and somehow you got to my channel, or you just really like guns. Either way, you're welcome.